Hefe,
What's going on?
you drinking your air over there?
I am Perry Air.
Every time you have that, I swear, it's like President Scroob.
No, I got this. It's I'm not going to do a hype for it because they're not paying us, but there's some pretty cool water companies out there that do things that just it's a little less of an impact on the environment, and you can recycle these bad boys. I'm in Oregon, so I get a dime back when I take this back to the store. So yeah,
You take enough of them back, you get $1.
exactly. I don't know how many that is, but it's a chunk. You know, we get a couple dollars when we go.
There you go.
But yeah,
There you go.
I can't do math.
I can remember being in my grandfather's garage as a kid with a big rubber mallet and taking soda cans and smashing them. And he and I would just get these big, huge bags of cans, and we'd go out to the recycle center and you'd sell them to the recycle and walk away with $80
Yeah.
or something. It was like, and let me tell you what, in the 80s, this was back in the 80s, like $80 was like, heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's like an income. That's revenue right there.
Right. So anyway, hey, what's up, everybody out there? Did you guys also recycle your cans? You know what I have in my garage right now, Jeff? There's a thing on the wall. It's from people who own this house before we got there. The thing on the wall where you stick your can in and you pull the lever down and it crushes your can for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We never had those here because like the whole thing here is that we actually track the barcode. Like they ring the barcode. Even back in the day, they would do that for recycling. Yeah,
that is a lot.
It's a lot, but it's all done with lasers and whatever and for whatever.
That is crazy. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Jeff and I are recording an episode talking about Babylon 5, not recycling or taking care of the earth, although you should. We really should do what we can to care for this great earth of ours.
Very simple things. I was just thinking how $80 in the 80s. Do you know what you could do with $80 at a McDonald's? Probably about what Veer does in this episode we're about to talk about.
At McBarry's with the golden head buns.
Yeah. So good.
It tastes so good going down, not so much coming up.
Yeah. Actually doesn't taste that good going down either, but
yeah. I'm down for McBarry's breakfast these days, but I don't do much else after that.
Yeah. Same. I love the sausage McMuffin. No egg, just the sausage McMuffin.
That's exactly what I get. But you know what though? There are times more lately where I'll go get it and I'll bite into it and I can just taste the salt.
Oh.
There's so much salt. I'm like, oh my god. Oh.
You wash that down with some black coffee, you're good.
Coke Zero.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff, we got to do a podcast about something here, man. Babylon 5. We're talking about this is how Season 5 is going for us, Jeff.
That's where we're at. This is where we are.
This is episode 14, Meditations on the Abyss. My notes say from the Abyss, but it's on the Abyss. Jeff and I have watched this episode for the first time. We are here to discuss it. You guys are getting to watch the behind the scenes of how we make an audio podcast. So what that means is you guys get all the outtakes, you get the cut ups, you get the rabbit trails, you get the conversations about McDonald's breakfast and recycling, or whatever cut ups else you get, the fun stuff of how we make this whole deal go. So Jeff, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Oh, while you're here, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the video if you like what we got going on here. And if you want more stuff from Jeff and I, be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Babylon5. First,
the number 5, the word first.
There you go. Hit that button, Jeff. Let's go.
At least I should have buffed him just once.
Humans form communities.
And from that diversity comes a strength.
Now get the hell out of our galaxy!
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast, Babylon 5.
For the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
That's right. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters who decided to start a brand new podcast all about Babylon 5, where we are applying those skills we learned as Star Trek podcasters and overanalyzing an episode, seeking out messages wherever they may be, regardless of the quality of the episode itself. And that's what we're doing here. where we are looking for the important messages that Babylon 5 is trying to deliver in its own unique way.
Important messages, Babylon 5 messages, if you will. We've been doing this podcast a really long time. We've been saying it, and I was literally just thinking how I'm like, we're going to autopilot this thing, and I totally lost my line.
106 episodes, Jeff. 106 episodes right now.
We're fine. Hi, YouTube. Hi.
If we were our own TV show, we would be syndicated now. So,
wow.
Yeah, think about it, right?
That's pretty wild. Okay. But we're not looking for Star Trek messages because this is not a Star Trek podcast at all. In fact, all we're going to do. What am I doing, man? What am I doing?
Okay. Do we need to reset the whole thing? We'll turn this one off, start the whole thing over again. What do you think?
I'm going to pick up my whole line again and just go as I'm supposed to. Those important messages, those Babylon 5 messages, because Brent, despite the unpopular opinion out there, we are not a Star Trek podcast. And to prove that, we play a game called the Rule of Three. This is a game where we limit ourselves to no more than collectively making 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. One of those plays. No substitutions, exchanges, a refund.
And if we do make one of those references, Jeff,
you're going to hear this very, very appreciated sound.
I hear that sound in my sleep these days, Jeff.
I'll bet.
Well, guys, while we are most definitely not a Star Trek podcast, it's possible those references could slip in. So the buzz comes and all that sort of stuff, and we laugh and we giggle, and that's the game we play called the Rule of Three. Now, there is another game that we like to play in the show, where when we get to the end of the episode, we'll take a look at the title for next week's episode. That is the only thing we'll have seen. We haven't watched the episode yet. We haven't read descriptions. We try not to even look at the thumbnails. And then we play a game where we try to guess what that episode is going to be about. And now it is time to play a different game that we like to call
Time to Pay the Piper.
And this is where we revisit our prediction from last week to see if we got it right. So, Jeff, what did you say Meditations on the Abyss was going to be about? And how close were you?
You know, in a fun way, we got sidetracked last week, so I didn't get to state my entire predictions. So
really,
I was listening back to it last week, and I'm like, I never actually made a prediction on this one. But I did write my prediction ahead of time, so I'll share it now. And I think part of what I did think is I thought we were going to be in the world of telepaths still. This was going to be a focus on telepaths. And specifically, I thought that Lita was going to be forming up her group of disenfranchised telepaths, and the Meditations on the Abyss was going to be her really wrestling with how far she was willing to go.
Can you hit your buzzer over there? Sorry.
Yeah, that's a big goose.
Not at all what this episode was about. Like, not even in the realm of what this episode was about.
What did you think?
You know what the realm this episode was about?
What was that?
The realm of monsters. Because that was my prediction, was this was going to be all about monsters. And what we were going to do is we were going to meet a demigod, and he was going to be searching for his lost magic hook. And we were going to go down into the depths, into the abyss, where we'd meet a giant crab who has decorated himself with all sorts of shiny objects, and he was going to sing about himself and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. We kind of missed this one altogether.
Yeah. Actually, I said this was going to be about the Drakh and the minions and shadows, and I'm not sure that Jeff got what I was just talking about there.
I didn't. I was actually making a thing.
Not even paying attention. Jeff didn't even hear. Did you not even? I was going, when is he going to stop me? You know what, Jeff? I'm not even telling you what I just said. I'm going to make you go back and listen to it when you publish it.
And I'm just going to be like, oh my God, just right in the strike zone. I probably, whatever. Yeah.
Right now there's a joke from me and everybody else that Jeff has no idea what's going on. So Jeff, let me just say you're welcome.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm here now. I'm here. We're going to be fine. Brent, we did not get at all what this episode is going to be about. And I bet there are other people out there who are like, gosh, I keep trying to remember this. I'm meditating. here in this place on an abyss. If you would, trying to remember what this episode is about, can you remind everyone what Meditations on the Abyss was all about?
Well, 'twas the night before Christmas, and on Babylon 5, not a creature was stirring, except Delenn, who's in bed, but she can't sleep. And on her nightstand, there's a crystal pyramid straight out of my grandmama's house that starts to glow. She quietly slips out of bed and tells Sheridan she's going to go check on some paperwork for a meeting tomorrow, and then immediately proceeds to a seedy nightclub. She's doing that whole half-cloaked face, sitting at a table alone, waiting for someone type thing, when someone just pulls up a chair. He gets very, very inappropriate and pushy, and despite her attempts to rebuff, he insists that his face is the one she's going to be seeing when she wakes up in the morning. At which point, Delenn, using only her middle finger on a hand that is very evidently bearing a wedding ring, breaks the other dude's middle finger. He tries to chase her down as she moves off frame, but that's when another cloaked figure springs into action and goes all Minbari Ninja Warrior on his butt. It's Lennier, and he has answered Delenn's bat signal. She has a mission for the newly minted Anlashak Lennier. Although, honestly, I preferred when we just called him a ranger, but whatever. And while he's not actually a full Anlashak yet, he is still technically in training, but that's cool because it's actually going to work out in favor of the mission. Now, what is this mission, you ask? I said, what is this mission, you may ask?
Am I supposed to ask?
I said, what is this mission, you may ask?
What am I missing here?
Ask me what the mission was.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask.
Yes.
What is this mission?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. You see, Delenn has some evidence that the Centauri are the ones who have been behind the recent attacks on the shipping lines out in neutral space. But she needs proof. So she's sending Lennier to the Centauri border on board White Star 27, aka the Maria, where he will take part in training exercises with the Maria, but in reality, he's also there looking for proof that the Centauri are the ones who are behind the attacks. Lennier's a bit nervous ever since Morden came back on the Day of the Dead and told him that he was going to betray the Anlashak. But good news for Lennier, nothing with that happens in the rest of this episode. I think JMS just wanted to remind us that that happened. Now, while Lennier is reporting for duty, why don't we check in on the other cast members? Londo has made a major decision that when he leaves B5, he is going to appoint a McBari's Lovin' Veer Kodo to full ambassador on Babylon 5. Londo says he's not quite ready for the job yet, but by the time Londo has to return to Centauri Prime, Veer will be. He will be. Over in the president's office, Sheridan and G'Kar are meeting with a Drazi ambassador who has also come to suspect Centauri involvement in the shipping line attacks, which is perhaps why the Drazi saw fit to bug Londo's groceries. It didn't really work, though, and Londo wound up having some fun at the expense of the Drazi ambassador's wife. Now, flash over to MedLab, where G'Kar is there as well, and he's getting a fancy new red robot eye to replace the blue one he's been sporting for the last year. While there, Franklin's foundationalist beliefs are aroused by the prospect of speaking with a living prophet, and Franklin decides to attend G'Kar's next church meeting. G'Kar waxes philosophical, theological, ecumenical, talking about a light that is bouncing off a wall and how people get distracted by what the light is bouncing off of rather than the source of the light itself, but folks aren't really getting it. That is until an exasperated G'Kar just declares, God is the light, and now they all seem to get it. All right, let's get back to Lennier. Recruit Lennier meets his captain, Montoya, and he meets a new friend, fellow recruit, Fendel. Captain Montoya looks at him, says, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. No, I'm just joking. Captain Montoya has a training mission for them. They're to head out in Minbari fighters and scout around for a little bit, But unbeknownst to Lennier and Fendel, this is not actually what's going to happen. You see, the real test for them comes when the Maria jumps away to hyperspace, leaving the 2 trainees behind, only to realize that instead of 7 hours of air in their ship, they only have 1. Lennier stays cool and collected. Fendel panics. And of course, right at the last moment, the Maria jumps back in and collects them. Score 1 for Lennier. So far, so good. His cover has not been blown. All right, day 2, another training exercise, introduces 2 more recruits. Their names aren't really important. What is important is the math. You see, this one's going to be an Easter egg hunt, the captain says. They're at an asteroid field, and hidden in the asteroids are these short little range beacons. They've got to find and destroy 10 of them. But with 4 fighters, there's only 39 beacons, meaning someone is going to fail this mission. Lennier takes an early lead. We don't really care about the other 2. And Fendel basically gives up because he's going to lose. And he says he didn't really want to be a endless shock in the first place. He just sort of felt obligated to jump in. So he does the only thing that he thinks is noble. He sets a suicide course for a nearby asteroid. Lennier, with some quick thinking and tinkering, actually winds up firing on Lindel's ship, knocking him out of the way and saving Fendel's life. But back on the ship, Captain Montoya decides to reassign Fendel to recruitment duty, and he berates Lennier in front of everyone for firing on one of his own. And he fails Lennier for the mission. Privately, though, the captain thanks Lennier for saving Fendel's life. And, oh yeah, we heard every word that you guys were saying out there when you were trying to be in a private communique. Well, in case you were wondering exactly how the end of this whole thing with Lennier happens, well, we're just going to have to tune in next week or maybe the week after, because hopefully we'll get it then, because we certainly didn't get it in this episode. That's it. Well, all of that and the fact that we have a sword-wielding, grocery store busting up, vengeful Veer, whom Londo declares is now ready to take on the job. And there's also a very drunken Garibaldi sprawled out on the floor who just wants some pizza. Jeff, what'd you think of this episode? Meditations on the Abyss.
I loved a lot of parts of this episode. I loved the Veer stuff. Oh my God, I loved the Veer stuff. It was so much fun. I loved G'Kar and Franklin. There was stuff that early on in the series, I specifically really bagged on Franklin for around his foundationist beliefs. And this is a really cool way of introducing that stuff and making it relevant. I liked that. These 2 stories, right? The G'Kar stuff, the Veer kind of growing into his new role. These are 2 stories that feel like they belong in the 5th season of a 5-season story arc, right?
Right.
Veer getting more legit, the sharing of faith, all these things are natural progressions and things we've expected to see. But do you, Brent, remember when we thought this whole shipping lane thing was just kind of flimsy and dumb and whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turns out it's going to be the story, I guess.
Mm.
I'm glad that they're wrapping Lennier into it, because that means he didn't just go away. You know, he's not just a bit player, like they're bringing him back in. In fact, I actually think Lennier is going to be absolutely pivotal moving forward. We'll get to that when we get to predictions on this one. But I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Did we seriously just take an entire episode, one of the very last episodes of the entire series, to dive into Analyshock training? Like, is that what... We got a glimpse into their training and learning curve. And that was kind of cool. It did other things to move some story things forward. This one kind of just showed us the thing. It took a lot of time to show us this stuff. Maybe they're setting us up for a spinoff. Maybe that's what JMS is doing at this point. I'm going to shotgun a whole bunch of ideas out there and see which one can get me another series at the end of this thing. Because I don't know. I had a hard time getting through this episode. When I sat down, I do my reaction on my first watch through, and then I do a second watch to take notes. And I had a really hard time sitting down to take notes on this one. If it wasn't for the Veer and the G'Kar stuff for this one, I would have been personally watching this about as uncomfortable as those pilots and Minbari fighters have to be while they're flying those things.
Do you really think they're any more comfortable than the beds they sleep in at night, though?
Yeah, what a horrible Minbari have to just be miserable.
Yeah.
What a well, personally, I hope that we're at the end of the abyss and that stuff is going to actually start happening in this series. Brent, what were your initials on this one? What did you think right away out of it?
So let's remember last week just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was the Core's mother, Core's father, right? TCIM, TCIF. And I believe I said in that episode that it felt like it might be a backdoor pilot for a new series. You just sort of referenced that a second ago. You also said when we got to this part, you said, Brent, just to remind the folks out there, you and I don't share notes. We don't compare notes. We don't really talk about the episode until we get to this moment to try to make this conversation as unique and organic as possible. And then you proceeded to read me what you wrote down for your opening thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Allow me to now return the favor.
Oh, man.
I'm still not sure what we're doing here. Why this story at this spot? We have 8 episodes left. I typically really like training op episodes. They're fun. And this one had all the hallmarks of a fun training op episode. But at this point in the series, why this story? Also, Lennier was sent out there to look for Delenn, but came back with nothing. There wasn't a conversation at the end that said, hey, I'm still looking, but I didn't find anything. Let's continue this next week. There was nothing. That whole piece was just left unresolved. He gets back to the ship, and then he gets blasted for doing something, and then privately gets a pat on the back. Did he ever really find anything out for Delenn, though? We don't know. They just left it there. Is this another backdoor pilot? Jeff, let me ask you a question. How would you feel if last week is the last time we ever saw Bester and this week was the last time we ever saw Lennier?
It would be the dumbest thing ever. Literally the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because right now Bester is built as the pivot point for this whole telepath conflict, and the way they've brought Lennier in. I mean, honestly, there is a path on this that we never see Lennier again, and it would be disappointing. Yeah. But I feel like they have set him up as the impetus to everyone learning what's going on.
Well, I mean, especially there's the whole cliffhanger of you're going to betray the Endless Shock one day.
Yeah,
that's got to be resolved somehow, some way. In this show, right? Like, yeah, that's what I feel like with this episode. Like, this would have been a fantastic season 1, season 2 episode. If Lennier was going to go join the Endless Shock, he should have joined them back in season 2 or 3 when Delenn took over for Sinclair. And then let him go through these training bits. But I don't understand what's going. I don't know. Did Bill Mummy have contract issues? Did he go do a movie and he wasn't available? Like, I don't understand. I just don't get it. And I'm with you on that. And I'm still left with, we have 8 episodes left. And This is the episode you're giving me. I hope that it's setting us up for some big major ending. You and I keep kind of saying that, like, something's got to kick into gear. And Jeff, I'm just not sure. Like, yes, we have 8 episodes left, so there's still plenty of time left. But, what are we doing here?
You and I know, like, we'll just share this. We know that the series finale was filmed before season 5. We've learned that, right?
Yes.
Are they literally just kind of treading water until they can drop that on us? Is that what's happening here? Because it's what it feels like.
Because my other understanding is they didn't edit the series finale from whatever they filmed last time. It's not like, hey, we filmed the season finale. Okay, we're going to shelve that idea. Let's do season 5. We get to the end of season 5. Hey, we're going to record a few new scenes to, go with what we said happened in season 5 to bring that into the story. And then here's the, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, please don't tell us out there, folks. Like, Jeff and I already know too much about the future.
Yep,
right? Like,
too much.
But from my understanding is they didn't do any of that for this one. It's what we'll see at the end of the series is what was meant to come in place of deconstruction of falling stars. Yeah. That being said, Jeff, as you said, there are some really good parts to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
This is an episode. I don't have this written down, but let me say this. Tell me if you would agree with. This is an example of an episode where the individual parts are greater than the whole.
Some of the individual parts. Well, you know what? Yes and no, because I think to your point, and even my point, I think that I'm down on this episode because it's at the last half of season. It's at the last half of season 5. It's at the last section of the entire series. You plop this somewhere else, it's a good episode,
right?
You know, I mean, the Analyst Shock stuff was interesting. Like you said, I dig those training up things. I liked how they did this. I liked the characters, Montoya, Findel, the exercises they went through. Those were cool. But the other pieces, the Veer growing up stuff, the Franklin and Jakar stuff, that, I mean, frankly, Franklin-y, that stuff was pretty top notch. Like, that was really, really good, really well done.
This was one of the least offensive Franklin episodes I've seen, like, ever.
I really liked, like, very much liked Franklin in this one.
I liked how well, let's talk about that. I liked how Franklin approached Jakar. There in the middle of just kind of doing whatever. By the way, him pulling that eyeball out of Jakar's head. Now, granted, that was 1,000% a dummy head that they were pulling that eyeball out of.
Yeah.
But it looked so good. Like, if only they could have somehow made it move, you might have fooled me.
It's almost as good as when Lennier got blasted in the bomb thing in Convictions, right? And like for so much of the episode, it was a wax dummy of him, and I had no idea till the same thing with this. Like, it looked Babylon 5. We don't say this enough, but when it comes to like the physical, practical effects that they use a lot of the times in the makeup, holy crud,
they're really good.
So well done.
So good. They really are. They really are. So pulling that out, he's getting a new eyeball. I want to talk about the eyeball in just a moment. But Dr. Franklin's like, hey, so tell me about this thing you got going on here, Prophet. And he's like, I'm a foundationalist. I want to search this stuff out. You know what? You know what would have been great for this episode? Brother Theo. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, we're trying to seek out all the names of God. Let's find out what you call him. Speaking of somebody who just disappeared one day, like, man. And then he goes and he actually like shows up at his church service.
Yeah.
Like, Franklin's not of that faith, and he shows up to check it out and see what's up. Like, the open-mindedness of that, to be like, I'm just going to come listen. He didn't have to come in and preach and hold signs and anything like that. He just came in and participated. Like, I'm going to go check it out. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's not for me. I'm good. Like, let's go see. I'm curious. Let's go see.
And a really cool moment between the two of them when I feel like this is going to be a theme through Jakar's, this prophet Jakar story of just the sheer ignorance and just, you know, baby mama, feed me baby, you know, baby bird, feed the baby bird of, you know, fundamentalists and sycophants. But that moment where Jakar's like, how are you not understanding what I'm saying? And he and Franklin look at each other and Franklin's like, I got you, dude. You got this. Like, it's cool. I thought that was a really neat moment where they really connected on like this thing that's deep and important to both of them, even though they're coming at it from different places. Like, that was a really powerful moment.
So I was caught up in something else in that moment.
Okay.
Just trying to understand what Jakar was talking about. And you know, this is where I think I got taken out of the episode because it started coming back to my own faith and my own reality of dealing with my own faith and other people's faith and what that whole piece looks like. And, you know, like, I was listening to Jakar and I'm just like, this is so hokey what you're saying right now, dude. Like, it is so it sounds like it was written for television, which it was. Like, I mean, it sounds exactly like what it is. But this whole thing about the light and, you know, Jakar wasn't making it easy. He wasn't boiling it down for the folks, but I love that moment that you're talking about where he's just like, how do you guys not understand what I'm saying here? And if I just like, God is the light. They're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, no, that's not actually what he was trying to like. Maybe it is, like,
I think there's a lot to unpack there on modern religion and how much of it is someone just being like, fine, truth is the river and God is the mouth of the river. There you go. Geez, you're not getting it. And then some people grab that and then like go kill people because of that one line, you know, or what? Like, oh, now we got our march. We can do this. But I felt like, I think to me, what's weird is I don't think G'Kar ever started writing or recording this stuff with the intent of being a religious figure or having anyone believe that he knew God.
Right.
He's literally just taking a philosophical view of the events that he has experienced.
Yep.
And people are taking it to that next level. And he's kind of, as they ask questions, riffing, you know, he's just like, light. There's a light and a wall. What I did find interesting in that is it's almost the same analogy. You brought up Brother Theo. I'll bring up Brother Edward. Yeah. It's almost the same analogy that Lennier used with Brother Edward when he was talking about the Minbari faith and how, like, imagine that there's a blank wall and there's the universe and so it's like this whole, I think JMS has this belief system or whatever for himself built around, you know what it's built around, or what it sounds like is the Plato's allegory of the cave. Do you know this?
I do not. Please explain.
So I don't know it super well, and I know there are people that are watching and listening who know better, so please feel free to elaborate. It's a fascinating concept. But the allegory is people, humanity, live in this dark cave, and there are fires, you know, because they can cook and have heat and light, and what they see from the fires are the shadows of what exists in reality. So a tree, a bird, a mountain, whatever, they see the shadows of them cast up on the wall, and they believe those shadows are reality. What they don't know is there's an entire reality beyond the fires that, you know, has much more depth, much more color, much more vibrant life behind it. And so a big part of Plato's teachings are to leave the cave, right? Go out and actually experience the things instead of the shadows of the things. And I think part of what G'Kar is saying here, and maybe even part of what, you know, the Minbari faith is, we're seeing reflections or shadows or lights of what's really out there and what really exists. Our challenge is to acknowledge that and then try to see beyond it, to leave the cave, as it were. In the Minbari faith, that's the universe trying to figure things out. In G'Kar, he's BSing his way around a way of basically saying, hey, you know what? God is whatever you need God to be. It's a reflection of you. And that's fine, because God is the place of all truth, and you got to figure out what that is for you or whatever. So I don't know. I think there's a through line back from Passing Through Gethsemane that really gives us some insight into JMS's belief system.
I 1000% agree. I also had that same reminiscence, I guess, that I was also reminded of what Lennier had said. And I remember thinking in the moment, like, what G'Kar's saying right now makes about as much sense as what Lennier was saying back then.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that without getting into big, deep theological conversations, which we don't want to do here. Like,
we don't, but it's tempting, right? Because like I had some of those thoughts. I'll just say that, like, I think it prompts those thoughts. And what a thing that Babylon 5 does for us as the viewer is it presents. It doesn't even necessarily ask the question. It presents some questions. We can choose to grab them and think about them or not. But I think that you're right. This doesn't make sense. It's G'Kar in a beautifully verbalized way, painting a picture to be like, I don't know either.
I mean, it definitely sounds like a guy who has grown up in some sort of a religious system, who has become an atheist as he gets older, trying to reconcile what he heard as a kid versus what he now believes as an adult and bring those pieces together
and try and make it all make sense.
Exactly. Did my camera just go out?
Yep, you are just a big cloud right now.
Hold on. So welcome to the behind the scenes, guys.
This is a fun one for YouTube. I'm totally on my game. Your tech is doing great.
Yeah.
Let's meditate on that for a moment.
Yeah. Okay. Does that bring it back?
Nope. Frankly, though, I think it looks good on you.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably better way to look at me. All right, that should go away. Sorry. So what this is, for the folks out there wondering, is I before that I use my my phone. There it is, as my camera, because turns out cameras have phones have really good cameras in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just started getting a phone call. Now, typically when there's a phone call, it doesn't mess with this at all. It's just like, hey, you have an alert. For some reason, it made it go weird. I have no idea why.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Apple pushed out an update that probably broke the thing.
Right.
I'm sorry, Jeff. What were you saying? Or what was I saying?
I think we wrapped up. I think that was a good place to stop on things.
Great. Let's talk about that eye for a second.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that Jakar gets a red eye. I kind of have enjoyed him having the little thorn in the side, so to speak, of having the blue eye. The blue eye is in the opening credits of the season. If they don't change for the next episode, I'm going to be mad.
They've done a good job updating credits, like back in season 2 with the Len and stuff like that, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I have a theory. I have a theory about that eye.
Please do, because I'm sitting here going, like, did TNT just give them money that they could now make the eye and he could afford a new contact or something? Like, I just, why? Again, why? It's fine. Why?
When he got the eye back in season 4, Franklin said it's going to take some time to get this set up for to match your eye color, because this is a human technology that he's kind of adapting for him as a Narn. So it showed up. That's cool. It's still kind of weird, the whole thing. It just is like, because they spent a lot of time on it, because the conversation they were having, but also the effects. They spent a good chunk of money on the effects for it. But what I noticed was while he was buffing the eye and cleaning it and getting it all ready to put in, which, by the way, when he put it in, it was literally just like, boop, just the easiest little pop in there, which is just cool. He must have like a USB-C port in there. It doesn't matter if it's up or down, it's just fits regardless. But he had the view of the eye up on the monitors.
Right.
In his thing. It's wireless. There's nothing connecting it to anything.
Right.
Is his eye hackable?
Well, if the Alexa in my bedroom is hackable, then probably.
Probably. Which makes me wonder, is that how the Drazi and other Alliance worlds are wise to the fact the Centauri are involved in this shipping lane stuff? Has Jakar been compromised? Has his eye been hacked? And what's going to happen to his old eye? Does Franklin destroy that? Or is it out there where someone else might grab it and it's still like, does it have stuff?
It's back on John and Delenn's dresser nightstand, just hanging out. Weird ass eye hanging out there.
President and First Lady of the Alliance .XXX.
If I may posit an answer to your question, I think the answer is no. I don't think that's what it is.
No.
Could it be? Sure. Good to speculate. Would I be shocked in a couple episodes if they came back and said that that's what it was? No. But well, yeah, I would be, but I don't think that's where they're going with the story. Like,
because my thought was, because it would be disappointing if the whole eye thing was set up to, one, make that awful joke of him watching them on their wedding night, and then two, the scene where he's got the the thing over his eye and war with them. Yeah. If that's the whole point, gosh, that's disappointing. I mean, it looks cool at the end.
What if the thing about covering the eye, because you remember we were making the comparisons to Lord of the Rings for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
What if that eye is the Palantir? Oh. And like the thing over his eye was actually to, like, because it's hackable, like now I can cover it up so nobody else can see what I see right now, and I'll take it off when I want the world to see what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, I like that better than my other thought, which was he just find out he's hacked, so he takes it out, puts it in a box, puts it away, and then just covers his eye up, because he's like, well, now you're just going to look at this black box the whole time. But I like it better of just like, now you shall see. So let's talk about the Lennier stuff, and then we can maybe wrap up on a high note with the Veer stuff.
Well, yes. If we're going to talk about Lennier, though, we need to start in the bedroom.
Yeah.
With Franklin and Dylan. Actually, I want to start at the beginning. The opening for this episode is a real long, slow shot over Babylon 5. And the music was very somber and very like, this wasn't nighttime lullaby we're sleeping. Like, this was like something heavy is happening. And then there's Dylan, and she looks over, and the bat signal pyramid thing's going off, which I said in the recap, and I'll say it again. That pyramid, I swear to you, Jeff, was on my grandmother's coffee table when I was growing up. But it was in that room that you're not allowed to go into as a kid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the off limits room. It was in that room. Yeah. But like, it was there, and it was right next to the crystal lighter.
The big one.
The big fat one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you could see the butane in it, like you could refill the butane. Yeah, that thing. We just dated ourselves. Like, we dated ourselves by talking about our grandmamas.
Right. It's like, oh wow, those guys.
Man, like, you could murder somebody if you hit them in the head with one of those.
Oh,
things.
Totally. Yeah, no question.
Yeah. So the little bat signal pyramid thing's going off, and by the time we get to what all's going on, the somber music and the slow crawl over Babylon 5 didn't make much sense at all.
Nope.
Now, I'm totally picking this apart for minutia, because I hear people out there like, what are you talking about? Who cares? I'm like, I know, right? But I'm watching the opening of this episode, and it set me up to believe one thing that didn't actually come to pass. So Dylan gets up. Whatever happened to the idea that Minbari don't lie, Jeff?
That's out the window for this one. 100%. Not even protecting people's honor. There's just straight lying all over the place in this one.
Straight up lied to her husband. And he didn't believe it, but he was okay with it and rolled over and went back to bed anyway.
Probably very tired. It takes a lot of energy to sign all those paperworks.
Yes. Just at some point you just get a stamp.
Smartest thing I ever did. So I got a rubber stamp for my signature, told my executive assistant, I'm like, just do it.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
It's pretty great. And it also shows a lot of trust to the people you work with, where he's like, you know what, I trust you with this. It's fine. And that empowers people to do really good things and make good decisions.
There you go. I like it. She puts on a cloak and goes all Aragorn Ranger-ish into a seedy nightclub. And she talks to this dude. What are your thoughts on this dude? And just her going to the nightclub dressed like this in the middle of the night after lying to her husband through her tooth.
I hate men because of this guy.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's out there.
Yeah.
Pretty much any woman out there listening to this or watching this has probably experienced this guy at some point in their lives, and it just disgusted me. Like, I just watched it, and at first I'm like, this is ridiculous. No, actually, this happens all the time, and I hate men because of it.
Here's the thing. This is what I don't get, and I'm going to speak as a man.
Okay.
Okay. He pulls up a chair, he sits down, he's hitting on her, flirting with her. Okay. She says no, and he continues to pursue anyway. Should he have gone up and walked away at that point? Yes, he should have.
100%.
Is that what we were taught to do as men back in the 90s? No, it is not. You sit there, and whatever. Now, as soon as he says, and she's like, no, and he's getting nowhere with it. As soon as he looks at her and goes, when are you going to get it through your skull? I'm the face you're going to wake up to in the morning.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Where do you come up with that? How do you and then all of a sudden she goes, okay. And she gets real soft and he goes, okay, that's better. Where is your brain? What are you does that work ever? Because once she has said no, thank you, you then pursue a little bit more, and then she's like, no, really, no, and I'm not going to ask you nicely again. That's when you go, okay, I'm out.
Right? Sorry.
You should have said I'm out earlier, but play it out, Jeff. Let's say he did get her to go to bed with him and wake up in the morning. Is that really what you want?
You know, I have thoughts and answers on these. I'm not that guy, and I've never been that woman, and so I don't have a place to really stand. But my gut tells me it does work, and it is what they want. Like, it's not what they really want, you know, like for real, you know. But I think we're dealing with a lot of intersecting traumas here. His traumas, the traumas he assumes that she has, and that many women do have, many people have. And like, let's pull this even out of a gender place. This is really like a person coming and being aggressive to hook up with someone else. And I think the sad thing is, and you know what, this is what, okay, I want to preface this, because this has got to be activating for some people out there who have experienced this. And I want to acknowledge that before we dive in anymore. I also want to say that if this is activating for you, or you have experience here, and this is a story you feel compelled or desire to share with us, we will treat it with the utmost respect and confidentiality, if that is what you choose to do. That's the thing I know about our community. Very open and sharing with your lives. It means, I can't tell you how much it means to us. Like, it's one of the biggest texts Brent and I have back and forth of like, oh my gosh, you got to look at this one in the inbox. It's wow, kind of a thing. But I want to really acknowledge that this is a real thing people have had happen, and it's hard. But yeah, I think this happens, and I think that people feel that they feel obligated at some point of like, well, they said this is what's going to happen. They'll be upset if I don't do it. I don't want them to be upset. In fact, gosh, I know a person very well who has shared this with me, and it's hard to even think about, but there's a moment where this guy's getting aggressive and tough, and they do the mental math of, I can keep advocating for myself and standing up, and this could get really ugly and tough, or I could just sleep with them and this will be over tomorrow and I'll never have to worry about it again. And they just do that because it's easier.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it hurt. Like, it hurts to even like,
I am so oblivious to stuff like that, because it's not how I was raised. It's not where I come from. It's not been my experience. And to anyone out there who has ever experienced that, I'm so sorry. On behalf of men
everywhere,
men suck, and we're not all like that.
Well, you know, I think it's a thing, and this isn't an excuse. This isn't a justification, but you said a powerful thing. In the 90s, men were not trained to walk away. We were trained, literally, no means no until it means yes. And the only difference between, you know, quote unquote, you know, making the score or whatever and not is persistence. You keep pushing, you keep going. And that's just so messed up.
I was trained that girls don't like good guys. They only like bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you got to be a bad guy. You have to just go for it. You just have to go for it. Yeah. You know, that's the way I grew up. That's what I had coming up.
We are the result. This is a hard thing. It's a thing that I've really uncovered in a lot of my own work, and I'm still wrapping my head around because it's so complex. But we are the result of our trauma, of our parents' trauma, of their parents' trauma. Like, just generations of trauma and societal pressure makes us who we are now. And those moments, like you just said, us being able to recognize and interrupt those generational and societal things of, you know, hey, just keep going, just push for it. Make us stopping and interrupting that is part of the change. But, you know, if there are 100, I won't even say men, if there are 100 people out there trying to initiate some sort of physical contact of some kind, 98 of them aren't stopping and interrupting. That might not be fair, you know, but a good chunk of them aren't stopping and interrupting that thought process. That's just what they think. It's how they think it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
So many people have been hurt because of that. It's awful.
It is. And we could drone on this all day long if we wanted to, Jeff, and it'd be a worthy conversation. But
you know what I will say about it?
Yeah.
I loved Delenn channeling her Ring of Honor Bryan Danielson, her Nigel McGuinness, and grabbing dude's finger and just dropping him to the deck. That felt good.
Well, it was, I mean, she told, like, it always works when somebody tells you, I'm going to say this nicely, and that's the last time I'm going to say it nicely. Bad stuff's going to happen. And people called her on it and they got showed what's what.
Yep. Okay.
Like, you go, girl.
Here you go.
You get it. Because she can do it. And that's a quiet confidence you can operate in when you can do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Lennier shows up, goes Yoda episode 2 on his butt, as Lennier always does. So good to see Lennier, by the way.
It really was. I was upset, though, that he said, it only matters that you try. I'm like, no, dude, we have learned.
Right.
There is only do. There is no try. Do or do not.
I still think it was a mistake to do whatever they've done with Bill Mummy. Again, I don't know if it was contract issues or timing issues or what. This whole thing, it was just wrong. Although there is still this weird unspoken vibe with Lennier and Delenn.
Yeah.
That it's just I don't like where they've gone with this character. Unfortunately.
I can see it. You know what I mean? Like, I can see where it was. I'm with you, though. I don't like it. I'm kind of withholding judgment as much as I can to see what it leads to.
Yeah.
Maybe there's redemption for him. You know, maybe there's a moment or whatever that's great and it feels good. Maybe things go horrible, but it's got to lead somewhere. If this just treads water, this whole like tension between them and him being pretty juvenile in his response about it, it's going to be really upsetting.
I need Lennier to find somebody else and move on it and realize that I need him to go Garth Brooks with Delenn. You know what I mean when I say that? You know that song he has, Unanswered Prayers?
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was the one I wanted. I thought, but, you know, and I pray every night that God would make her mine, and he didn't answer that prayer. And and I met her one day and I introduced her to my wife. And as she walked away, I looked at my wife and I thought, thank God for unanswered prayers. And I need him to do that with Delenn. Like, he needs to find himself somebody else and be like, you know what? You're awesome. And she's not as awesome as I thought she was.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Delenn's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Delenn's awesome, but I need Lennier to move on.
Big time. So he reports to go ahead.
No, go ahead. Dude.
So he reports to White Star 27, or Maria, as Montoya lovingly calls her. It's a very human thing, right, for him to do that.
Yes.
Frankly, from this point forward, this was to me, this was all a riff on Learning Curve. This
episode did not follow what it set us up to do to this moment. It just didn't. Like, it turned into training op. It was fine. It was a good it was an interesting episode. Neat things. White Stars carry their own little White Star Furies.
Yeah, who knew?
Is that what we call them? White Star Furies?
That makes sense. Yeah, sure.
Is that what they are? I don't know. Minbari fighters? I don't know what we call them. They have 7 hours of air. They're super uncomfortable to get in and out of.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially with that corduroy they have to lay on. Like, that's got to leave impressions on them.
Dude, can you imagine like because they got the big bonehead thing going on, like how often they hit their bonehead on the back of the
gunk.
Just all the time. And everything is kind of paint by numbers at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Findel, he didn't really want to be. You know who he reminded me of was Sam Tarley from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He wanted to be a maester the whole time, but because of stuff, he ended up having to go be a brother of the Night's Watch.
Yeah. Yeah. He had that feel. I have a question to ask you, Mr. Jeffrey, former military man. At the end of this episode, Findel gets sent off to the recruiter's office. He's going to work in recruitment. Now, I understand, please, people, save your keyboard strokes out there. This is not, U.S. military of the future. This is something different. I get that. But in general, Jeff, isn't working in the recruiter's office like a pretty sweet job in the like it's actually a high honor job in the military. Like, it's not just Yeah, you couldn't cut it as a soldier, so we're going to throw you over here.
Yeah, you got to be good at your job, and there's high expectations. Like it's a good job to get. It's a hard job to hold on to. Like it's a big deal. But I felt like I really appreciated what Montoya was trying to teach. I really don't think this was the way to teach it. Like, hey, you need to do your own reflection and understand like why you're here matters. So I'm going to go put you in charge of the lives of countless people and how they move forward. What? No. Maybe just send him to reflect on his decisions. Maybe do that.
Right. Just let him be discharged if that's what he needs to do.
There's a little thing that exists in our military in the United States, probably exists there. It's called an ESL or ELS, entry-level separation. There's this moment, this very short period of time where you and or the armed force that you're serving in can say, you know what, this is not a good fit, and we're just going to separate. Do that with Findel. Let him go. And he's worried about honor and whatever. Cool. Let him sweep floors in an Analyshock facility somewhere. We still need those people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not the right call by Montoya.
So, Jeff, at the risk of not doing our jobs and not analyzing a situation because it just sort of seems inane, you know, we still look at the inane and analyze it. He goes out, Findel panics, Lennier stays cool. In the next one, Findel effectively goes to commit suicide again. This could be another trigger warning type situation here. Like, and Lennier shuts down comms, tries to open up a thing, and he goes to do what he has to do to save his friend. And then he gets blasted for it and then patted on the back for it.
Yep.
I don't have much to make out of all of that. I really don't. Like,
well, I think Montoya's response to Lennier was totally appropriate, right? Because you're in front of, everyone. What he did by the book was the wrong thing, but what he actually did was uphold what the Rangers are all about, And so I think the way he handled that was actually really, really good. To me, that's it. Like you said it. I think that the part I wanted to touch on was the moment of bait and switch in this. We were told Lennier was going to go pretend to be in training ops so that he could go pick up on information around the shipping lane attacks. They send the fighters out to sit, and immediately they're like, oh, crud. Our air is messed up. Our ship is taken off. What are we going to do? My initial thought here was, oh, so part of the minions thing is they can have a telepath mind disruption thing where they make them believe and see things that aren't real. And so in my head, I was like, they have 7 hours of air. The mothership's still there. Everything's fine, but they're making them think they're not. So they panic and then they can pick them off. But then
Jeff, I'm sorry. That 1000% sounds like an episode of Next Generation. That's
it really does, doesn't it?
It sounds like an episode of Next Generation, what you just described there, Mr. Star Trek boy.
And it would have been that would have been awesome. Like if they had this whole, and then they actually need the telepaths to come in and help disrupt that stuff so they can, that would have led to a really cool story. It was about the time Findel started freaking out about stuff where I'm like, this is a test. We're going to do this episode instead. To me, it was total bait and switch in that moment. And yeah, Lennier. And again, this was a pick up and replace of the learning curve thing of you've got one Analyshock in training who's doing the stuff and believing the things and another one who's questioning and not really doing it. We've already gotten this story.
There was an episode back in season 3 that basically tried to do what an earlier episode from season 3 tried to do. Except the earlier episode did it better. And
Shadow Dancing and Walkabout, right?
Do what now?
Shadow Dancing and Walkabout?
Oh, that wasn't anything about that one, but you're 1000% right. There's that one too. No, I was thinking Late Delivery from Avalon and Passing Through Gethsemane.
Yes, I try to forget at least one of those.
Sorry to bring that sore subject back up, folks. Don't at me, okay? That was 2 seasons ago. Let it go. But you now have me on that train of this was trying to do the exact same thing that one was trying to do, only that one did it better. Yeah. You're right, it did. I say this out of all of that. I really appreciated that the captain wrote Maria actually painted it on the side of the ship.
That was cool. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we have overly exhausted and spent way too much time talking about nothing.
Yeah, let's talk about some good stuff.
Let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about Veer and Londo. Before we do that, let me just say this to get it out of the way. Where's Lockley been?
Oh, yes.
I mean, CNC, I guess.
Yeah,
but
busy work running the station that doesn't matter anymore, apparently. So
she has her own action figure in the series. Where is she?
Opening credits.
Do you know what? You know what I'd love to find is a Kefir action figure, just because.
I think we talked about this. The Kefir action figure that is just like his skull. That was his best moment.
Londo. Okay, here. Listen, McBarry's, McDonald's throwing that in.
Brilliant.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. Getting
bugged. Here's really where I think we just to drill down on Veer. Let's talk about his character arc at this point. Because this was, I don't want to say a capstone, but this wasn't even a turning moment. This was a culmination of what we've been seeing out of Veer.
Yep.
From the first season when we first met Veer, being timid and shy, coming in through the second season, places where he stood up to Londo and said, Londo, you're wrong. Then places where he stood up to Morden and said, I want to see your head on a pike so I can wave at you. Right? To other episodes where Veer tried to step out and then got slapped back down by Londo, and Veer took it after stepping out. And I remember, I think it was season 3 somewhere, Jeff, maybe end of season 2, where it was like, you were miffed that Veer took the slap down. But I was saying, no, this is a step along the way.
Yeah, that was Seek Transit Veer, where
there it is. Yeah.
Ivanova set him up really bad, and that I'm infuriated at how that all went down.
But that step gets us to where we are now, to where Veer has come to a spot where somebody's gonna pull one over on him and bug his groceries and make him the guy who delivers that bug to his boss Londo. He's going to go take care of it. And boy, howdy did Veer go take care of it in a very Centauri way.
Yes. Which I think, I thought it was great. He went right for the Qatari. He didn't have a conversation. He didn't say anything. He just grabbed it and went. One of the things we've talked about a lot is the conflict in Londo between who he wants to be and where he was heading to that anchor of being Centauri and doing that. Veer has avoided that for everything. Even in Seek Transit Veer, where he was faced with Centauriism, right, of an arranged marriage and this stuff, he's still balked. And, no, I want this to matter. I want it to be for love. Is this the moment that Veer gets pulled into that? Now this conflict is introduced for him.
No, I think this is Veer still being as solid as Veer has always been. I think that's where we're going to see him be. But I think it's also Veer fully standing up for himself. And do you remember back in War Without End, after Jakar and Londo choke each other out, Veer steps out from behind the from behind the curtain, and he looks down and he bends down and he picks up I'm guessing that's like the Emperor's crest or whatever, the necklace or thing or whatever it was. And he's looking down his nose at Londo. And I remember thinking then, and I still think it now, like, that's a different Veer. Something has happened with Veer where he's stronger and he's more in control. He knows who he is, and it almost seemed evil. It almost seems sinister.
A little bit.
This is that Veer. Veer has become that guy. I don't know that it is sinister. I don't know that it's evil. I think it's a Veer who is strong and confident in who he is as a person. And, he is smart, and he's not going to take note of nobody. Like,
right.
Sorry, you got to buzz that. I'm sorry. What's that? This is a spot where Veer I see pride, I see power, I see a badass mother who don't take no crap off nobody. Like, that's the Veer that we have now. That is just, he is strong. You know what I mean? Jeff, when you edit this later, take that other thing I said out and just leave that one in.
Yeah, that's good.
I was trying to pull that reference. I was like, shoot, what's
right here? It's right here. Yeah, this is that moment, right, where you put coal under pressure and it either demolishes or turns into a diamond. We've been watching Veer under pressure for quite a long time, and now we're starting to see the diamond emerge. I loved how proud Londo was. Like, he looks over to Zach and he's just like, now he is the ambassador.
Right.
That was cool.
Yeah. I loved that it settled in the same episode. Londo set up for, he's not ready yet, but he will be before I leave, to, okay, now he's ready. I love that happened in the same episode.
It's like the first time in a long time they acknowledge they have 8 episodes left and need to move forward with the story.
You know, here's the thing. I would be okay with this. Given the breadth of the story of Babylon 5, of covering 5 seasons and all that stuff, I would be okay if they spent these last 8 episodes letting people go one by one.
Yeah.
Wrapping their, like with Dr. Franklin, remember him a couple weeks ago? Like, he's going to go off to, if he left now, that'd be okay. If last week, let's just say last week was Bester's last episode and this week was Lennier's last episode, if they would have wrapped those 2 stories, if Lita would have Lita could have gone away at the end of the whole Byron thing, and her, like, let the people go and put those bows on it. But the show doesn't feel like it's doing that. Like, if you know, that's why I keep saying, like, I keep expecting something, but it's not. The show has taught me to expect something.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know where we're going with it. So, can we just speak about, Jeff, what needs to be the absolute latest t-shirt that we are going to make here at Babylon 5 for the very first time? And if we ever actually get off our duffs and really make a t-shirt, maybe this should actually be the first one. I needed a silhouette of Veer holding the sword, and the words just need to say "Spoo for brains."
Spoo for brains, yes. He just had so much vitriol. This is spoo for brains. Like,
right.
Great. Well, I think then, Brent, this takes us to this part of the episode, the point of the episode everyone looks forward to, where we're going to boil all of this down. We're going to see if this episode had any hidden messages, any apparent or blatant messages, had some deep meanings, maybe held up a mirror to society, maybe, possibly, gave us hope that we can one day be better than we are now. You get the honor of doing that by rating this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 white stars as to how strong that message is and just how Babylon 5 delivered it in its own unique way. So, Brent, it's on you. What are your thoughts on this one?
Jeff, I may have said this on this show before. One of the songs my daughter loves from the first Frozen movie is the little troll song.
Yeah.
Where they're out there. There's a line in that song, though, that I abhor. Absolutely abhor, because it flies in the face of everything that I believe and my experience of life. And I know I've talked about this before. Yeah. The line says, you can't really change them because people don't really change. I reject that idea and premise summarily. People do change. They can change for the better. They can change for the worse. We talk about the idea of giving us hope for a better future. You're talking about the hope for change. In this episode today, we saw Veer. We've just discussed that at length. I won't retread all of that. But that gives everybody hope that if Veer can go through that, so can you. When we look at where G'Kar has been, here he is holding church. This isn't like last time when he just sort of reluctantly went into that first service. Like, this is him in the middle of that, and Franklin's watching him and observing and like, wow, this is legit now. Change for the better can happen. Was that the point of this episode? No. But I think that is something that we can draw out of this episode. What I do think, when we come down to a point of this episode, something that is just overly glaring and something that I absolutely loved. actually has to do with Lennier. Can we just say Lennier is awesome? Like, as childish as he is about stuff, he is a good dude. Lennier is a guy to emulate. Lennier is a guy to want to be like. The idea of doing the right thing at the right time, no matter the cost to you, is a message that we talk about in Star Trek all the time. It is a message that we try to teach our children. It is a message that we should be trying to teach people everywhere. This is not unique to Star Trek. Okay, like this is the message. Do the right thing at the right time. When Lennier went to save Findel, it was the right thing to do, even if it was going to cost him personally. Now, did Lennier know in the moment it was going to cost him personally? Possibly, because that's why he shut off the communications and tried to make everything private. Or is that why he did that? The cool thing about Lennier going to the private channel and doing so was not just trying to save his friend, was not just trying to save himself. And I don't even know that really crossed his mind. The reason he went was because he was caring for Findel, this guy he just met. He loved and respected Findel enough as a person, as a human. I feel like we keep coming back to this idea here on Babylon 5 a lot, and that's okay because it's a good one we got to keep coming back to all the time. Findel was having a moment of crisis. He was having a big issue. And Lennier, in the moment of trying to rescue Findel, still had the wherewithal to try to protect Findel's dignity and his privacy, just through the simple act of switching the communications over to private. Now, we later learned that didn't work. That's beside the point. Doing the right thing at the right time, never losing sight of the person in front of you. Jeff, this is a new idea I don't think we've discussed before here on Babylon 5 for the first time. So often people get involved in doing what's right, that they will do it at the expense of the person in front of them. And that's not right. That's not good. Yes, we want to do what's right. Not when it costs somebody else something. Not even costs them, when it ignores them. When it ignores what they're going through. Lennier recognized that his friend was going through something. And he went to help. And not just to save a life, but to save his dignity. Earlier, he recognized Delenn was going through something, and he jumped in to help. Right? I love this. Lennier shows great command. Lennier shows great concern, not just for a comrade, but for a person. Phenomenal message. Is this the core of the intended message of the entire episode? No, I don't think so. But I do think there's something there. I think that is a point JMS was trying to write when he was trying to get across. The whole thing that G'Kar was teaching and preaching, I think that might have been a personal philosophy of JMS. I don't think it's holding up a mirror to society. I don't think it's giving us hope for a better future or anything like that. So I'm not even going to consider that. But I will consider the idea of a hope for change and respecting people. Like, these are things we need to come in. Jeff, I'm going to give this one 2 Starfury. I'm going to give this one 2 White Furies.
2.
Nope. I'm going to give this one 2 White Stars.
2. I think, let me stumble just a little bit for what it's worth.
Okay.
I think it was the entire point of the Lennier storyline. Because otherwise, it was literally just showing them going through training ops. Like, either it was to show them going through training ops, or it was to show that Lennier deeply cares about the people around them to the point of self-sacrifice. What he said in that moment with Montoya at the end, where he's like, hey, I had these problems, these things went wrong, and Findel totally came to help me out, and stuff got a little bit out of hand. He had to have fully known in that moment that he was, I mean, he lost the passing mark, or whatever on the whole thing, which isn't, life or death, but I think that Lennier knew his choices would cost him personally. He didn't even hesitate. Like, there wasn't even a moment of like, should I do this? It was the right thing to do, period. And so I think that literally that moment was the full intent of this.
I would agree with you on that fully. There's not even I would. I do agree with you on that fully. I think a big piece of this episode, I have to imagine a big reason for this episode is to remind us of Lennier and who Lennier is for whatever's getting ready to come. Because my gosh, Jeff, if I'm not right, because this is not a prediction. I'm just saying I'd be mad if it turned out to be, if this is Lennier's last stand, if this is the last we see of Lennier. I don't think it is, because this feels like it is setting us up for who Lennier has become.
Yeah.
Lennier is a good person. Lennier is good at his job.
Mm-hmm.
Lennier still being in training kind of seems wrong. Like, he feels like he should be fully out of it by now. Like the way he handled himself in this particular episode, you know? And I feel like that was more of the reason for it. It just happened in this way. But I hear what you're saying. I really do. I'm tempted, but I think I'm still going to leave it at 2 white stars.
It's fair. You know, I just had a thought. You just said, it reminds me of, I think it was Star Wars Episode 2 when, might have been 3. I forget which one.
When Yoda bounced around and had a really cool fight.
That was really cool.
Oh.
I always think of that all the time.
Yes.
Such a cool thing. But no, I remember, you know, Anakin wanting to be on the council. And like, we grant you the rank of master, but we do not, you know, invite you to be on the council or whatever. It was like, and that didn't turn out well, you know, for the galaxy. It's almost having Lennier having to go through this training stuff. It's like, we grant you that you're this whole thing, but we do not quite give you the title of Analyst Shock yet. Is it going to not turn out well for the galaxy? Are we going to we got Darth Londo. Are we going to get Darth Lennier as well?
We were told that he's going to betray the Endless Shock, man. Oh, Jeff.
That would suck.
Dude, Jeff, there are still so many dangling lines here. 8 episodes and we're spending it on a training op and on whatever last week was. Like, I don't see the picture. I want to see this picture. I really do. I just don't see the picture yet, Jeff.
We're either in for a wild, wild ride or a lot of treading of water.
Well, speaking of treading of water, Jeff, we have one more thing. Well, 2 more things, actually, I guess we have to get through. But one, it was up to me, and you did not sway me. Ha ha ha, I am a heart of stone. But you now get to do something that I have absolutely no control over. You get to rank this one. You get to place this one in our 100% completely accurate, immutable, definitive ranking of Season 5 of Babylon 5. Jeff, our top 5 currently sits at the Very Long Night of Londo Mollari. No Compromises. Learning Curve, the one we just referenced here. The Ragged Edge, and A View from the Gallery. Jeff, where do you put Meditations on the Abyss?
What makes this hard is I have a zone that I see this in, and I kind of can't believe that the zone is as high as it is. Because I'm conflicted, right? We talked about this. This is not a bad episode by any means, but it's not a great end of 5th season episode, you know? And so where I'm landing is right around like number 7 or number 8 at this point. And so this is an episode in my mind in the vein of the court.
Just for Jeff, I'm sorry, just for the folks listening at home who can't see the list I have here. Currently number 7 is I'm sorry, that was season 4. Let's go back. Season 5. Currently number 7 is The Korra's Mother, The Korra's Father, and number 8 is Tragedy of Telepaths.
Mm-hmm. And that's that's a powerful dividing line for us. That
yes, it is.
And I think about this one in terms of Korra's Mother, Korra's Father, because I think that where it's ultimately going to land really depends on what's to come. Mm-hmm. This might have planted some powerful seeds with Lennier that are going to pay off in a big way, and we're going to look back and be like, holy crud, I loved how they set this up. Or it's Lennier's last episode, and it's just going to be infuriating. I don't know. So when I look at it on the Korra's Mother, the Korra's Father, I get conflicted because I enjoyed that episode more than I enjoyed this episode.
Yep.
But the Veer flying around with a Qatari, that scene alone, so good. In fact, this is what I'm going to say. You and I have been Veer fans from go.
Yes.
In this whole thing. This is a pivotal. This is not quite Veer waving at Morden's actual head on a peak, but it's right there close to it for him. I'm going to say this is our new number 7 episode.
I think I personally might have actually ranked it a little higher than that.
Really?
Yes. But I 1000% understand your reasoning, and I can't do anything about it. So,
well, Brent, that's it for Meditations on the Abyss. Next week, we're going to be watching Darkness Ascending for the first time. As Brent said back in the Time to Pay the Piper part of this game we love to play, we don't look ahead at all. We don't read descriptions. We avoid thumbnails, all that good stuff. We enjoy and have fun guessing what the next episode is going to be based on the title alone. Brent, you get to go first on this one. What do you think Darkness Ascending is going to be about?
well, that title alone is this like, Jeff, we're here. We've been anticipating this run of episodes here at the end of the season, just like we had in season 4. That feels like we're here. Like, that's what that is. So I've got to go back to, this is either the minions or the telepaths moving into a position of power in the universe. Like, things have to get bad before they can get better. You know what I mean? Like, we only have 8 episodes left. So bad things have to happen. Now, I'm not sure who it's going to be. I could see it being one or the other. I could see it being both. Honestly, like Lita and the telepaths and Bester, maybe Bester and oh, that's it. Bester and Lita like join forces and you know, because they're searching for a new homeworld, or maybe they're just gonna take over Earth. Just gonna take over Earth, right? Telepaths of the universe unite or something like that. Also, the minions. You know, we do know Londo's supposed to go back to Centauri Prime. He's supposed to do it sometime early in the next year. Feels like we're past early, right? But I think it's all the bad stuff that you hope doesn't happen. That's what happens, so that we can have the final fight and the good guys win at the end. That's what I think. What do you think, Jeff?
I think this is where Lennier betrays the Analyst Shock.
Oh,
I think he's going to be out. He's going to be out with on Maria, out with Montoya. I think we're going to see Montoya again, and he's going to find something.
Is he going to kill the captain's father?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think kill my father. Prepare to die. No, I think
I get 2 of those references in one episode. That's awesome.
That is. Anytime you can get a Princess Bride in, right? That's a huge win. I think he's going to discover something while they're out there doing this stuff that ties this to the Centauri. See a ship, some debris, something. But he's going to get dumb about the whole thing, and he's going to go in. He's going to try and rub it into Sheridan's face. He's going to get loud. He's going to abuse his position. The Drazi, the other Alliance worlds, are going to overhear this, and all hell is literally going to break loose. Like this is going to start like an inter-alliance thing that's going to launch what we know to be called the Drock War. And I think that I'm going to say that again because that sounded bad it's going to launch what we know as the Drock War, and it's just going to get crazy. And I think from the point after this forward, we're going to be having the telepath stuff and this Dark Minion Drock stuff going on to drive us to a maddening crescendo to close out season 5. And we'll find out here next week. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. Please leave us a rating and a review wherever you watch or listen to this podcast. Share the podcast. Hit that little share button. Share it with somebody who's either already in love with Babylon 5 or is about to fall in love with this incredible series. So until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, what's up?
You know, it sounds really good right now.
Huh. I would think. I'll tell you what sounds good to me.
What's that?
A big McBarry. Maybe a McBarry Royale with cheese.
Boo McNuggets. McBarry Flurry. The McBarry rib sandwich.
Oh.
Hold the onions. I don't want the onions on there.
The McBarry Shamrock Shake. Dude, let's shut this thing down. Let's head to the Golden Head Bones right now.
The Golden Head Bones. Oh my God. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Let's go.
Initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver.
We're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Let's head to the Golden Head. I love it.
That sounds like the opening to a video that wouldn't be here on YouTube.
It sounds so dirty.
Hey, you know a thing I forgot to bring up, and it's a question specific for you.
Oh, yeah?
Mr. Former general manager of a pizza shop.
Yeah.
Is suicide pizza a thing?
Never heard of it before in my life.
Yeah.
Never heard of it before in my life. I assume it's just to throw everything on there.
Like a graveyard, like the soda, like you put it all in there.
What do you call that?
Graveyard?
No, we call that a suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like if you go up to the soda fountain, you just a little bit of everything. We call that a suicide.
We call it a graveyard. My daughter loves them. I think it's disgusting. I loved it when I was her age too. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, we go up to do you guys have like Kona Ice or anything like that? You go up to that and just some of everything, and I'm like, that's gross. Those flavors don't go together at all.
No.
Yeah,
he was like listing off the toppings he wanted. Garibaldi was. I'm like, yeah, good. He's like, yeah, suicide pizza. And I'm like, is that a thing?
We call that a Works.
Okay.
It's a Works pizza.
Yeah.
Or Supreme. We call it a Supreme. We'll do that. I mean, different companies have different things they call it, I guess. So
yeah.
I don't know. Hey, Jeff, here's a question I had that it didn't fit into the overall deal. Well, first of all, can I just acknowledge 1 hour and 23 minutes on this episode? Way too long.
Yeah, we talked way too much.
This episode should have been like just the main discussion, not counting Club 65, not counting just that part. It should have been 1 hour 5 max. And that's probably being a little generous. So I want to apologize to everybody who's been hanging out because we droned on a little too much about.
Here's my prediction. I love these predictions. Please go. So if you're here right now, if you're in Club 65, this is Club 65. Here you are. Welcome. If you're here, I want you to go to your favorite podcatcher. I want you to grab the audio version of our podcast, download it because that helps our numbers. Go ahead, leave a rating and a review. I'm going to say that the actual audio episode will be it'll be just under an hour. It'll probably be 58, 59 minutes long.
Yes. Yeah, you'll cut out 20, 30 minutes of this.
I think so. Between some silence, between me messing up time and time again. This is going to be, so yeah, let us know. Come back and hit us up, wherever, Twitter, Mastodon, whatever, at Babylon 5 first, the number 5, the word first.
Just say Club 65 and then put the time you see. Yeah. And don't say anything else. Don't give any references to it. Just put it out there, make people wonder. Because as we say, the rule here in Club 65 is, we don't tell people what Club 65 is. You're either here and then you find out, or you're not and you have to wonder. And we don't tell folks.
That's it.
So it is the thing. Here's a question I had, Jeff. Okay. So we play this game every week where we try to guess what the episode is based on title alone. Title of this episode was Meditations on the Abyss. We've now seen the episode. Why this title? Put yourself in JMS's shoes. You got to come up with the title for the episode. It'd be a great episode title for this one. Meditations from the Abyss.
That's what gives me hope that there's going to be more stuff with Lennier. Like that's like, it means nothing in this episode. It means something when we get ahead and we look back. Like this was the moment. Lennier made decisions in this episode that we haven't seen yet.
But what are the meditations? Like, what is the Abyss? What are we talking about here? You just said, you don't know. We won't know until we find out later, but I don't understand this particular episode title.
I feel like that's a fun game we might play in Babylon 5 for the second time, is trying to figure out what the heck what did the title even mean?
Yeah, because we won't have the predictions anymore. It'll just be, hey, do you remember what the next episode was about?
No,
actually, I like that. Look at us. We're planning for the next show now.
That's what we do.
Gosh, we're that close. Jeff, we're that close. I like that as a segment because Babylon 5 for the second time is going to go a lot faster than this.
Yeah.
We're not going to analyze the episodes as much as we do in this one. At least I don't think. I don't know.
Well, I don't think too. We've talked about it. I don't think we're going to go episode by episode. We're going to probably take some chunks. There might be some episodes we take one, like some of them are really big, but other ones might be like, hey, here are these 4 episodes that happened. Let's reflect.
You watch 4 episodes in a week?
No.
4 episodes in a week.
Just one episode. We'll cover 4 episodes of Babylon 5. And like I'm thinking like some of the stuff in season 1 that we're like, hey, let's just group these ones together.
Yeah.
Or maybe here in season 5 we just group some of these together.
Well, I mean, and then there's even the you say look at War Without End. That episode in and of itself, you could take different aspects of it and talk about it for
days,
weeks on end. Yeah.
Especially when we get to the end and we know, like right now, it's all speculative. When we know what it wraps into, it could be, we could spend a long time on that one.
Don't worry, folks. Nothing of what we're saying right now is being set in stone at all. This is just Jeff and I spinning ideas.
Well, I think this show has proved nothing is ever set in stone. We've changed so much. Like, go back and listen to some of our first episodes, which is never a thing I recommend you do for any podcast. Never go and listen to the early stuff. But if you go back and listen, I bet we had a very, very different format and approach to this show than we do now.
You know, Jeff, it occurs to me. Nope, I'm not even speaking it into existence. Never mind.
Okay, cool.
Never mind. I'm not even going to speak it into existence.
It's powerful. Look at you.
Something. I was going to predict something bad, and I'm not. Nope.
There's enough bad in the world. Let's not predict anymore.
Yeah, Jeff, tell me something good.
We've only got 8 episodes left, and it's going to be exciting. This is cool. It's already. It's like it's June. It's already 1,000 degrees outside here. So like I've been sweating this whole time. It's like my air conditioner can't even keep up, and summer's just starting.
You think it's going to be as hot this summer as it was last summer?
God, I hope not.
Oh my gosh,
that was rough.
It was. Well, I mean, last year. I mean, certainly. Listen, I am not a climate change denial person at all. A lot of it had to do with the El Nino climate pattern that accompanied the craziness of last year.
So, El Nino, which is Spanish for the Nino.
I'm curious to see what happens. Club 65, you guys can leave now if you want. This is. I'm curious to see what happens because the first time I was ever aware of El Nino was like 96, 97.
Yep,
somewhere around there. Where I grew up in Kentucky, it snowed every year by about October. Like I can remember going out on Halloween with very light very light snow flurries. Like nothing would stick to the ground, but you could potentially see snow on Halloween, and then usually by Thanksgiving, December, you're starting to see accumulation of snow. And then I can remember as far into April, seeing big, huge mounds of snow that got piled up in the mall parking lots that were still melting. Like, they'd been there for weeks on end. It's just still melting. Like that was how I grew up. But since El Nino, it really wouldn't start snowing until like January, and then it'd be done by like March. And then what we started getting in Kentucky was ice storms.
Oh,
got ice storms all the time. I'm curious to see if this El Nino has any weird effect like that. But it was a clear demarcation of time between those El Ninos. So with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I know Jeff is distracted.
I got a visitor in here.
It's okay. Totally okay. We're in overtime anyway. So thank you guys so much. Drop 65 down and we'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully for an episode that makes more sense.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Bye guys. All right.